Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we could remain standing and remember our men and women in the armed forces, we have Memorial Day coming upon us now. And since our last meeting, Lena Palella. Thank you. All right, so we have first on the agenda public outreach for the Downtown Revitalization Initiative that's the $10 million grant. I will tell you that the letters of support have been overwhelming from folks from the county to the state to Hudson Highlands River folks to other organizations, the Garden Club. And so we're very appreciative of all those letters. And they'll be on the new website that has been put up just for the DRI grant. Gina, how do they get that? They go on our website?
No, it's its own website, Highland
Oh.
Falls Revitalization.org.
So it's our own website, Highland Falls Revitalization.org. Highland Falls Reorganization.org. Revitalization. So now that I've messed everyone up, I'll do it one more time. The Highland Falls Revitalization.org.
One word.
One word, Highland Falls Revitalization.org. And you'll see stuff go on there because there's going to be stuff added all the time. I did get many of the remarks that I printed a lot of the remarks that you had received. Not sure of anything new, a couple new things, some one-way streets. There was a lot of take the line poles down. So even the things that we've heard of before, when so many people make the same suggestion, you know, it's something to look at. But is there anyone here tonight that wants to, it's public outreach, so it's a time, it won't be the only time. There's been a lot of public outreach that we've done for this grant, and it'll show in the grant that we have. But now's the time if anyone wants to give us something different, give us something themselves. Yes?
Not so much about the grant, but something else. You want me to wait?
Are you talking about public comment?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't normally do public comment at workshops, but go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. Joe Modlin, Chamber of Commerce. I would just like to extend a sincere thank you to the police force Saturday. You guys, I'm not sure if you were there. I thought so. That we had a larger crowd at the military tribute banner ceremony than what we were expecting. And appreciate Trustee Aylward just sort of working in real time to get us the police support to block off the traffic for a few minutes while we did our ceremony. So great reaction time to that. Really appreciate that. Also wanted to reach out to John Jones and the DPW team. The weather and some maintenance issues with some trucks and stuff like that was sort of delaying our schedule to get the banners up. We were trying to get that done before Armed Forces Day, which we typically use as the kickoff for the banners. But it looks like he pulled out all the stops to make all that happen. And so again, I just wanted, on behalf of everyone who attended, just thank you all for doing that.
Here was Officer Ripper, right? And Officer Yates, right?
Yes,
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much.
All right, I'm going to skip right now until our engineer gets here, the public hearing on the MS4 stormwater. We'll come back to it. Chemical bids, you have those before you. There was an opening last week of the bids for the sewer plant and the water plant.
How were these in comparison to last year? They probably went up a little bit,
Some did, some didn't, Merv, actually. You would think they would, a certain percent anyway. So, if we could have, these are recommended by, you see on the second page who was present. The recommendation comes from John Jones, he went with the low bidder.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second the motion.
To accept the recommendations on the water and wastewater treatment plant chemicals for the year 2019-2020. It's a mix. It's a mix. And it always is. You'll see Slack, you'll see Jones, Coin.
Okay.
And Jones Chemical has nothing to do actually with John Jones, so just want to get that out there.
That was said last year.
That'll be a foil request.
Yeah, I just want to get that out there to the public before, you know.
Before Facebook gets.
So, yeah.
Okay, good.
Do you want to look at it?
No, no.
Okay.
That's a good point.
And the only reason, to be very honest with you, and it's fine, I'm an honest guy, I don't go through this, is because I couldn't pronounce half of these chemicals. Gina, you want to do it? So, but I know that they're all bitter. Actually, when I look at them, I wouldn't do too bad. Okay. So we have a motion by Merv, second by Jim. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have the Holland Falls softball team. It's a follow-up from maybe almost a month ago. I know I went over there yesterday and spoke to them. I think Brian did.
Yeah, I was there.
Their insurance is here, and so tonight would be, we should act one way or another on this. Any, let's see, do they have their schedule here? I know I have it. Have you guys seen their schedule? It looks something like
You put that
this.
up. Yeah, I see it.
So, your pleasure tonight in accepting the paperwork is in order. They've had a couple visits and there'll be others. And I told them if they need anything, you know, they come to us also. But to remove the trash, and they backed it up to 4 o'clock from 6 o'clock.
It's great.
I'm okay with approving it. I prefer to do it either monthly or bi-monthly, just to, that's just my opinion. That way if there's any issues or anything significant arises, we can address it in between, and so they would have time to address their schedule if necessary. But it's just me on one vote.
Well, my opinion on this is, I went up and seen them, they were playing, and I gotta tell you, number one, they dress like they're going out on Shea Stadium,
They do.
you know?
They do.
They dress like they're going out,
Yeah, they're for real.
they're really into it, and they were having a great time. And for me, to see that up at Roe Park, they're having a good time, their families are having a good time, and they're cheering and having fun and all of that. I have no problem with them doing up there, and I'm sure if there is any other problems up there, like any other team that would be up there, or any kind of problem that would be up there, the police PD would be up there. But these guys, they're just having a good time, that's my opinion.
Twice a month or every other month, bi-month?
Whatever, I don't know what their, you have a copy of their schedule?
Well, their schedule runs all the way through October,
Yeah.
and they have it in the insurance dates right here.
Nothing would change.
No, and if you
We would
did it,
just see their paperwork
if
again
you
at a
did it
meeting.
2 months, that would work out for June, July, August, September, and October.
I'm just saying this for conversation, for it's just a conversation piece. But if we're gonna do this with one, then we're gonna do this with all of them.
Yeah, we discussed that in the past.
Well, honestly, sorry, let's have that dialogue. I don't even know why we're really even approving it. like, this should have probably stopped right at recreation. We don't approve any other team when they go play at Roe Park.
We do,
And when do, if kids wanna go play at the park, we
not
approve
if
that?
kids wanna go play this afternoon. We approve O'Neill baseball.
Right, and that's a
We-
school team, which I completely understand,
Any
but
tournaments?
these are,
Any tournaments that are held?
Yeah, tournaments.
yeah, I just.
We don't approve if a bunch
I
of
think,
kids get together.
I think this type of stuff should be handled at the recreation department level, and that's just my personal opinion. You know, we maintain the field, and they're supposed to maintain the schedule, and.
But Jim, we still need to have village insurance. There's still, the village is in this.
Yeah, I
The
got
town
it.
is not,
I understand
actually.
that, so then why is the recreation department even vetting it then?
Why is the recreation department?
Yeah, why do they even vet it, if they should just come directly to us and just skip them?
Because when, I can answer it, and Gina knows more than I do about this, but I know that when someone comes and they want to use the field, they want to use something at Roe Park.
Yeah.
There's a sign off, there's a form for the village.
Right.
Then you have to go down and have it signed off by Aaron Falk
Right.
to make sure it's not something he's
On
already
the schedule,
scheduled.
right.
That's why.
But to me, that's just a minor formality, that there's nothing going on at the field that I know of that day, so yeah, you guys can play. It's a rubber stamp, that's my bottom line. So we're left with making decisions on another league, and to me, I just don't know why. If it's available, play. If it's not, don't play. If a group of people played there multiple times in a month, would they need to submit insurance? If 20 kids in town decided to play every Sunday in the month of July, would they need to submit insurance, or if they just met there on Sunday and played? I'm asking, I don't know.
Well, this is sort of a league that they're trying to put together, you know. I mean, they're playing, you know, they're playing.
I agree with it, I'm good with it.
No, I know, but, you know, again, this is just a conversation, but, you know, for me, you know, hearing some of this is like a little, it sounds a little bitter in a way, I mean, maybe
Not
it's
at
just.
all.
But I just think that this is, you know, again, this is people that put something together, they want to do softball. It's the same if somebody said, hey, let's have a kickball tournament up here, and we're gonna have a team, and they wanted to get a team together, and they came to the village and said, hey, listen, we want to do a kickball team up at Roe Park. So they want to get a league together, and they want to play in other areas. I mean, that's what the park is there for. I think it's all good to use it. I mean, and
I can only tell you that the packet you have there stapled together was exactly what they were told to do. And they went and did it. That's all I can tell you. So until we change the
Look,
policy and not be involved in this at all, or something less than that or more than that.
It's okay, I could be
this is
completely,
tonight.
I could be completely wrong, it's just my personal opinion.
Well, it's not a question of being
And
wrong.
we can vote on it. Somebody motion and vote on it, and
well, I'll make
it's
a
fine.
motion that we move forward with this. And also, I'd like to put in my motion too, that I think, you know, these people, they're all adults up there too. I mean, I wouldn't put them to monthly, I mean, let them go up there and have a good time. And if something is done wrongly by
Oh,
them
yeah.
or anybody else that's up there, then the police department will take care of it. I don't think they have to report back to the village, and I don't like that idea.
Well,
I just think that's very, very not Highland Falls friendly, you know?
This package is for 3 days. 2 have already passed, and the next one's the 26th. Then they're gonna have to resubmit a packet for the next days.
That's
if they
not
wanna
his
do it.
motion, his motion is to approve the schedule.
Just to move it forward.
That's his motion.
Just move it forward.
So then they
We'll
would
wait
have
for a
to,
second.
then they would have to send in a different packet, because all they're
No.
asking for is these
No.
3
No,
days.
they're, once we approve this, they're good for the summer.
We
So-
approved the 3 days
All
at the
of-
last meeting.
Right, so I guess the motion would be to approve all of the dates that they have their insurance for all the way up to and through 10/27,
That's what I'm.
right?
Yes.
And I'm comfortable with that.
Yep.
I just wanna make sure it's like that, so they don't have to,
And as
I didn't know if they had
as
come back with more
with-
paperwork.
with them, or the people that are in the pavilion, or somebody's at the swimming pool, if somebody ever causes problems up there, that's what this gentleman's for back there.
so the motion is to approve it all the way through
All the way
10/27.
through to the end of
I
the
second that.
season.
I would just note that, you know, the difference between a pickup game, even a pickup game that's regular, and a lead game is that, and the purpose is so that if anything does happen, the villages are named insured. So I think that's the reason that the village is involved. If the village wanted to change policy, so long as the documents are still provided and somebody signs off on them, and it could be the mayor, but if the policy has always been as it is tonight, then, I agree with the mayor that if you're gonna change the policy, then that's a policy change that the village should discuss.
And the town recreation department, whoever runs it, even when they put their own, like a month ago, they came to us, I'll stand corrected, they came to us about the Easter egg hunt. So we even had to approve the Easter egg hunt. So we have to approve if anyone uses the field with an organized event. Organized means a league like this. Organized means an Easter egg hunt contest. Organized does not mean 10 kids from my street walking over to Roe Park to play baseball. That's not organized. Okay, so that's a big difference.
If we're gonna talk about that, then I don't think organized is just getting a shirt that says Highland Falls Softball League either. The softball league actually had accounts at banks, they raised money, there was a whole thing.
Well,
And I don't know if they had documentation that called themselves the Town of Highlands Softball League. So I don't, that they could have
There was
actually
a
had
Town of
paper.
Highlands
Right,
men's
and they
softball
had
league.
actual paperwork. So I don't wanna get into that, we're getting in too far to it.
Yeah, I'm not getting into somebody raising money.
No,
I
my
could care
point
less.
is that it was, maybe had a legitimate paperwork, tax ID numbers, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not getting in questioning whether or not it's a legitimate group
I
of
doubt the
people.
men's softball league had a tax ID number,
I
but
think
maybe
they
they
did.
did. Okay, well then maybe they did.
And that's fine.
But that's not a requirement.
No, it's not, that's my point.
Okay.
So the motion is,
Move forward for the schedule of the team to play throughout the summer. There's no more going back to this.
seconded by,
I second that.
All in favor? You have that, Gina? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, let's move on. Thank you so much. Softball, okay, let's, a consultant proposal. You have we interviewed this gentleman here, Mr. Smith. He's a cell tower, I'll call him an expert. He's been on both sides. He's been on the cell tower, am I correct, Elise? Side, and he's been on municipality sides. Right now, he's on the municipality. And we thought he was, he explained to us what he does. And he sent us, we asked him to send us a proposal, he did. And if you read here, based on what I know right now, the total work is expected to be a maximum of 26 hours and a billing rate of $250 an hour, which equates to $6,500. But I want the residents to know, the taxpayers to know that if we approve him tonight, it's based on getting it from Homeland Towers in an escrow. Let Homeland Towers pay for this, not us, not the taxpayer. So if it's approved tonight, we'll bring him on board. We'll have a meeting as soon as I can arrange one to decide what our next step is. I know one of the things we talked to him about was coverage and the type of coverage as far as the reception, frequency, what am I looking for? Coverage. Are we covered? Maybe 90% of the village will be covered, maybe 100%, we have to see. And so the public knows too, we're not locked into where we did a test balloon flight a couple of months ago down behind the old Grand Union, down where the highway garage is. We're not locked into that spot. We've already suggested a couple of other spots to this gentleman to be checked out.
Good.
Okay? Is there any questions?
Yeah, in
Go ahead.
task description,
Mm-hmm.
the second line, is that a typo?
Briefing, yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
That's
He was-
okay.
That's okay, that's okay.
all right,
But you know what, we'll get him to correct that.
okay. Oh, okay.
We'll get him to correct that. We'll talk to him tomorrow. He did that night. People don't know. It's okay. Okay, is there a motion to bring on Mr. Smith, Clint Smith, to be our consultant for the cell tower based on Homeland Security's paying $6,500 into an escrow, therefore paying Mr. Smith.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll say.
We don't need roll call, do we? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much. Bills and claims for 2019, $104,954.65.
Jim and I reviewed them.
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Brian, is there a second? Seconded by Jim DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, I see our engineer has gotten here. Todd? My favorite subject. We're going to talk about tonight. Will you be able to bring the camera over?
Yeah.
Yep. That's fine. MS4 stormwater. This is a it's good. It's a highlight of my year. I just love this issue, subject. No.
Thank you, Board. Todd Atkinson with Fulshetti
Todd,
Associates here.
before you start, we're gonna take that mic, just turn your mic from the table around, Joe.
Is this a public hearing?
It is a public hearing, yes.
Okay, so you might want to open the public hearing
What, you want him to use this?
from the table.
But you need to open the public hearing first, so Mayor.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Okay, I can't see the clock, but whatever the time is right now, if we could open this public hearing, 7:20. We'll open the MS4 public hearing.
Okay.
We have our engineer here, Todd Atkinson, and Todd, give us an overview.
Yeah, just real quick. So the MS4 annual report is a requirement that's due to the New York State DEC every year. It runs from March 10th. This year would be March 10th, 2018 through March 9th, 2019. That's our year for this year. We are a municipal separate stormwater system. We have that. We have separate stormwater from our sewer lines. So the density of the village also promotes the fact that we are an MS4. There's 6 minimum control measures that are utilized to evaluate the performance of the village. And going through those 6 in this past year, we have met the requirements for the DEC guidelines, and I provided the report. The report was available, I think, sometime last week, early last week, on Monday of last week, here at the Village Hall, for anybody to review. It's actually pretty straightforward this year. We'll take a look at it moving forward with any other requirements that the DEC is going to put out there for this upcoming year, and make any changes that we need to our stormwater management plan. But right now, I'd ask that we look for public comment if there is any, and if there's none, that we close the public hearing and we authorize the mayor to sign the document so it can be submitted to the DEC prior to the June 1st deadline.
Jimmy, any comments?
No.
If I can, Mayor, I want to also mention, there was a question that came up, which is actually part of our proposal to move forward to do this. Is there any comments from anybody else on the board? Okay. So the 2018, 2017, and 2016 annual reports, there was questions whether or not those were actually completed in conformance with DEC standard. I was able to reach out to the DEC, had a conversation with them. We didn't have copies of them, but now you have 18, 17, and 16 copies. Those were actually accepted by the DEC. There was no comments from them, so moving forward from here on out, once we submit this, we'll look to obtain their approval on it as well, and then I'll be tracking with the minimum control measures as we move forward throughout the upcoming year.
So Todd, this is a requirement.
It is a mandatory.
We by law have to fulfill the requirement, but there's nothing we get in return, nothing from DEC, an attaboy to a $5,000 grant.
Negative. It's
Okay.
some will say it's an unfunded mandated.
Yeah.
mandate. So.
There's only one other person that loves this subject more than I do. Right there.
Yay, Todd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pending any other questions, that's all I have.
I have to tell you, I went through this with my facility last year, and I know how much work you put into this.
Thank you.
There is a lot of work that goes into
There's
this.
a lot of work.
There's a lot of work, because
Yeah.
As he's saying, the DEC is always knocking.
Yep, so and I give kudos to the village staff, John Jones, and everybody at the wastewater treatment plant and in the garage and the water plant, because those are the areas that really could get you in trouble with fuel and everything else that goes along with it. So
Absolutely.
you're doing a good job.
Good job.
Thanks, Todd.
You're welcome.
Anything from Janet? You have anything?
Well, you have to close.
I have to close it, but I want to make sure. You have
I
anything?
have
No. Okay. So we'll close the public hearing at 7:25. Okay.
And get permission to sign it.
Where is the form?
Right behind you.
Okay.
I make a motion the mayor has right to sign it.
Second.
Second by Jim Ramus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. No problem. So I have here a grant award notice of $7,500 from the State Division of Criminal Justice, which will go into the police department for what it was earmarked for. We did receive it, vehicle surplus for our upcoming vehicle purchases, vehicle reserve, if you will. It's a better way, not surplus, vehicle reserve. $7,500 from the state. A short note here from Kathy Keene. Just want to let you know what a wonderful team you have. This morning there were two nice gentlemen working hard on Catherine Street cleaning the shrubs. I thank them for having to keep the neighborhood and the village so clean. I think we've all seen, especially those that have been here for so many years, the improvements to Mountain Avenue. Mountain Avenue has been a disgrace as long as my memory goes back. When I talk about Mountain Avenue, I mean from the corner of Main and Mountain up to the Center Street Bridge. That area on the right. On the left is the firehouse. But on the right are homes that haven't been kept in years and years and years. And now all of them are but one. And that's what I refer to as the Purple House. So I'm really, really happy about Mountain Avenue, except for that Purple House. And so the Purple House, according to the building inspector this morning, is going into foreclosure. And he's had inquiries by several interested parties to buy it. So that might be more good news once that happens. The village has a coloring contest going on. If you come into Village Hall, these are on the counter. If you take it and have your children color it, and we'll have some winners, and we'll invite them to our next meeting in June. We'll have them here on TV and give them nice prizes. So these are inside the Village Hall, so please come in and pick them up and have your kids color them. We had different age groups.
Up to 10.
Up to 10. Okay. So please, this is fun to do. Landlord registry, we think there's a code that provides that by the town building department, Elise. We'll talk about it because I talked to him today and he has none. He doesn't have one. He doesn't.
It should be a local law, which.
I think it is.
Yeah, if the village doesn't have, I'm pretty sure we did.
Yes. So I want to look at that. If we do, I need to get the building department back to doing it so that we can track these out of our community landlords.
Yep,
For violations.
sure.
I'm also asking for the codes that pertain to Main Street, cleaning, sweeping, whatever they are. And I want to come up with a nice letter to the business owners on that, just reminding them of the codes that are out there.
Property maintenance.
Property maintenance kind of things. You know. We want to make ourselves much better. We've been talking a lot about that for the last 2 months. So we all have to help do it. Nicole's, just some updates on Nicole's. They're working on removing the asbestos. The building is coming down, and a church is going up. PenFed at the north end, nothing is happening right now, as of this morning. Old Guard Hotel, they were before the planning board last Thursday. They've asked for an extension of their special use exemption. And they do have the dollars for the off-site work that they're going to do for drainage.
What does that mean, special use?
So they received a special use permit to put a hotel on that property in that zone. It's not an as-of-right use, it's a special use, it's a special permitted use that, has a little higher bar to go through the planning board.
Okay, thanks.
There's some parking issues that we all have to talk about. I'm not sure if there's other issues besides parking with these Airbnbs. We're starting to get complaints about parking. You'd have a house and now it has 8 people for the weekend there. And it's causing issues, so.
I mean, generally, short-term rentals, it's not permitted. Specifically, then it's not permitted.
Then we really have to talk about this because they're throughout the village. I think they're great to have. I'm glad we have them. I think we have more than we think we have, and they're starting to come to light now with especially parking.
I can look into regulations if the village board is interested in regulating them.
But let's have a discussion. I want to thank Rotary for decorating the graves at the 3 cemeteries, Highland Union, Peacedale, and Eagle Valley, for putting flags up for Memorial Day. I want to thank Jim DeSalvo across the table here representing the fire department, and we put flags on firemen. And so I think if you go over to the cemetery now, it'll look nice for Memorial Day as it should. But very, very important, if there's a grave we missed, because we didn't know, there's no marking that you were a fireman, there's no marking that you were in the armed forces, let us know. We have flags, we'll go over and put the flag there. I can tell you we missed some. So let us know. Of course, the board wants to congratulate a few more days the West Point graduating class of 2019. Those young men and women are pretty happy. I want to thank Desiree Talley, who was out this weekend with a group of O'Neill children. I guess they were athletes.
There were 2 different cleanups, O'Neill athletes and then Desiree had a group of kids.
Yeah, Desiree had a group of kids, so we want to thank her for coordinating that. She's right there. And she said something probably simple, but it's so true. These kids want to do something. They want to volunteer, but they don't know what for. And I can understand that. They want to help. I want to do something, but they don't know what it is. So it's up to, with our help and Desiree and many other people, the rec department, we can suggest things for them to do. We're putting in for the senior citizen improvements for 2020 Community Development Block Grant. We're putting in for a drop ceiling in the kitchen with new lighting, a drop ceiling in the large hall with new lighting, windows, kitchen cabinets, possibly a patio. Anything, Gene, I'm missing there? I think that's might be 1 or 2 more things, but Todd, can you think of anything else?
Did you say, you said a drop ceiling?
Drop ceilings, new lighting,
New lighting.
new windows possibly.
New HVAC, duct work down to the drop ceiling.
Okay. So that'll be, we're meeting with them this week, and at the site, the senior citizen site.
Thursday the 23rd.
Yeah, this Thursday to,
25.
with the county folks, to go over what our request is for next year. And we hope that they'll understand why we need it and award it to us.
Time's the meeting next Thursday?
2:25 PM.
Thank you.
Drop ceiling, ductwork, new lighting, windows, patio, kitchen cabinet, countertop. Those are the items. This is the paperwork. This is old, this is old. Brian?
Yeah, Ann Molina was awarded today as Senior Citizen of the Year, and tomorrow she'll be up in Albany receiving another award. I want to thank Pat DeGoff for the work she did on the banners, Jim Odlin, the work they did, Chamber of Commerce, all the people who volunteered for us. Special thanks to the Bear Mountain Bakery. They designed a great cake for us, coffee. The two police officers. I finally got it said, it's your aunt I was thinking about, you, and you're the great nephew. I kept on saying your grandmother, you looked at me like, it's called Senior Citizen Moment. But thank you for helping us out again. And we got a lot of nice accolades from people. They were very moved seeing their loved ones in the banner, so it was a good day. It was a good day. That's it.
Jim? Mark?
I just have one thing to bring up, and, you know, I know, well, this isn't really for Village Park, but 4th of July is around the corner. And I'm not on the
Are you
committee.
picking him up without a microphone?
I'm not on the committee. I'm not on the 4th of July committee, but I'm a local boy here in this town, and, you know, we really appreciate the festivities that happen up at Roe Park, the parade and everything else. And I think more people need to get involved. I think there's got to be more donations to help this out. I don't think people realize how much it takes to make a 4th of July happen here in the community. There's not a bucket full of money that they go to each year. I was on the committee years ago, and I have to tell you, I've heard some negative comments that we're not going to have this and they're not going to have that this year. They could only have what they could afford. That's it. That's how it works. So I really hope that community people, when that donation comes around, you really reach in and think to yourself, wow, this is going to be nice, this is going to be 4th of July, we're going to have all this festivities going on up at Roe Park, and make this day happen, because, again, you know, this is something for the whole community, and it takes the whole community to put this together. And that's it. And I know that wasn't really village business, but yeah, it was. There you go.
So things to do, Mr. Mayor. I put together a children's fishing derby that we're going to have on June 8th. And it's going to be rain or shine, because the fish don't know if it's raining. They're living in the water. It's going to start at 9 o'clock, but we're going to have registration at 8. I'll have a pre-registration down at the Village Hall, so if you wanted to register your kid early, you just come down and sign their name up. It's going to be over, like I said, at Roe Park. It's going to be children 4 through 15. This way they don't need a license, but we ask that an adult be with them. For the first 50 anglers that show up, I'm going to have little goodie bags for them. We'll have some bait, some hooks, sinkers, bobbers, things like that. We're going to have some prizes in 3 different categories, depending on how many children show up. And we are also going to give them a free hot dog lunch. So they'll get a hot dog, bag of chips, a beverage, something like that. It just happens that it coincides with the outdoor day. That is a state-wide program. So it's a perfect time to get the kids outside. If they have baseball games that day, maybe they have a late game, they can come fishing and then go to their game early. Thanks.
So you're going to give them a hook, right?
We'll have
You're-
some hooks.
You're going to give them a bobber.
Bobbers?
That's how you tell if the fish is on there.
Yes, sir.
And you're going to give them worms.
We'll have some worms available.
They just have to bring a stick, a pole with a string,
Absolutely.
like Tom
So kind of like that.
Tom Sawyer. I was thinking the Huckabee. What was that?
They can bring their wagon too if they want.
That's great, Jim. A free lunch.
Yeah.
I just one question.
Thank you.
If realtors have a house, okay, and it takes a while to sell, Who's responsible for the upkeep of that?
The property owner.
Could that be something that we discuss with realtors, like, if you see the lawn getting certain high, you need to explain to people that there might be some maintenance costs while the house is up for sale?
You're assuming the house is vacant.
Yes.
Absolutely, that's our code right now, so
Right.
we just have to get it enforced.
Yeah.
But Murph said it, I think, one or two meetings ago, and you're right. You know, summer's here now, spring's here now, and last meeting, throughout the whole winter, we were fine, because it's winter. Last meeting, we had one property maintenance. And the next meeting, you know, we're maybe gonna have 5, and then the next meeting, it'll be 8, 9, or 10 for every meeting. That has been the last couple of years. We don't want that, although we'll take care of it if it's handed to us.
I have to say that it's been tough right now with the weather. This is sort of like, you know, rain, and then finally you get a nice day and you're
Yeah.
working. And then it's,
There's a house on the corner of Kleitz and Hillside. It's really bad.
there's a few of them.
I mean, the guy's gonna actually have to hire someone. You know what I mean? Hillside and Kleitz. It's really, really bad. So that's just one.
There
But
should,
anyway.
there should always be a owner of the property though, whether it's a bank. I don't know, you know, even if it's vacant, they would walk away. Let's say they walked away, then a realtor couldn't sell the house unless they were hired by the owner until it became, you know, the county owned it. Someone's gonna own it, you know what I mean? There's gonna be a property owner. So it wouldn't be up to the realtor unless they wanted to sell the house. I mean, it would be
In
behoove
the
them.
past, many times we get these property maintenance violations up here. It is a bank that
Yeah,
is at fault. But they don't react like a resident who gets a letter.
But
The
they
bank
are-
takes months.
but that's when we
But
have
they
that,
are responsible,
That's
yeah,
right.
but then we,
even during the foreclosure
yeah,
process.
and then we have those laws in place to
Right.
go on there, fix it,
Right.
remedy it, and then build it.
It's the Purple House, we all know the Purple House on Mountain Avenue. That's in foreclosure.
Right,
It's the biggest eyesore in town.
yeah.
What's sad about that is the house on each side of it, and I got some pictures for the next meeting on the improvements that they've done.
Oh, yeah.
Contractors, not only there, but
This is
throughout the
the-
village, people are hiring contractors, and they're really,
This is the
Shining
best Mountain
up the
Avenue's ever looked in my lifetime. And I'm old. In my lifetime. You guys know that. It's the same with you, no matter what your age is. Okay.
I'm dealing with a lawyer now, in fact, I called him this morning. There's a house on, where an estate change because of death has come about into the courts.
Oh,
And
I
they
know.
can't hire anybody
I know where you're
to
at.
clean up
Yeah.
until the court says this person is now being assigned.
Yeah,
I know where you're at.
they have to have a
I did that this
representative
morning.
of the estate.
Right.
So,
Wasn't that the violation we had for the next meeting? 11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other one was on Church.
Yeah.
They were there this morning. I met with Bruce this morning, so they were at the house.
Okay.
I probably asked this question last year, and I think I mentioned it to you, Gina. So if somebody's in violation property and the grass is way overgrown, we send a landscaper up there
Yeah.
to cut the property.
Yes.
They get paid
Yes.
from the village.
Yes.
In time period, or they get paid?
Yeah, they get paid.
They get paid, and our reimbursement comes,
Taxes.
Taxes.
There's other taxes they want.
We do, here, listen, no one has to worry, the taxpayer doesn't have to worry, we get our money. We get our money. It's just that we gotta outlay it for a little while before we get it back. Now,
yeah.
that's something I think we wanna look at.
And the fines.
With fine, and we gotta look at the administration fee on that.
I think you have the ability now
Yeah.
to place an administrator.
Because we
And I think
spoke
by
about that last
resolution-
year.
Yeah.
Because there's more work to that than we just said here for them.
Yeah.
They gotta keep track of this. I mean, I don't know how, they gotta put it in the computer, you gotta go back to it, you gotta mark it paid, you gotta mark it isn't paid yet. You know, there's a lot to it. It isn't just paying a guy that cuts grass and then eventually we'll get it.
Right.
It's a whole lot more work for them. that we should look at the administration fee on this stuff.
And luckily in Orange.
It's not right.
And luckily in Orange County, the county makes all the towns whole. So no matter how much we expend on a property and we put it on their tax roll, and even if it goes lapse, we still get it back from the county.
And do we know that fine? The fine that we put out?
Well, it's done by
Yes.
resolution, so you can set it, you can raise it.
See, that's why sometimes I wonder to myself, if you have, I'm just gonna throw out a piece of property somewhere, and it's continuous, so we as the village say, okay, you know what? Bring the landscaper up there, the landscaper goes up there, but it's pretty much public that it costs X, Y, and Z. God, I hope that never happens to me to have that done, you know? And maybe that'll stop a little bit when people realize that they had to pay this price, they had to pay this fine, they had to,
Yeah,
and then, because I don't think it's really out there to the community that when they look at a grass and it's going high, what the violation part is going to be on that.
I would probably say most residents, if it's most folks that live in town that have they probably try to remedy it and care that they would be paying a fine. If it's a bank or it's in a tax, they probably, the bigger banks don't care about a $250 fine.
And I'm not trying to say we're trying to be hard
They
about
just don't.
doing this right
Yeah,
now,
no,
but
no.
some of these properties are way, like you were saying, Mayor, you know?
I would say most banks don't, I should clarify that, most banks don't care about a $250 or $500 fine. I mean, you might be dealing with folks and agencies that are on the other side of the country,
Elise, you have anything? Todd?
Nope.
Gina? Have anything? You happy?
I'll make a motion.
Motion to adjourn by Merv, is there a second? Second by Brian, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much.